Hello, everybody. I had to reboot just before we started the live stream. I am so sick and tired of this. Anyway, welcome. Hope everyone had a wonderful week. I had a very, very busy week. My voice is still garbage. We meaning me and the spirit of you guys accompanying me, rearranged the room back there a little bit. I'm getting rid of, you're going to hate this, 5 printers tomorrow. Actually, Tuesday. Tomorrow they don't pick up anything. It's a holiday, Martin Luther King Day. So I have a schedule to be picked up on Tuesday. They are unfixable. They're It's sad, but that's what happens. These printers are old. I still have a few left. I am keeping the 2880 from Epson. It's actually a very good printer. And I believe I need to check. I haven't done that yet, but I believe I have refillable cartridges in it. And I'm gonna revive it because that is really a good printer. And then once I do that, maybe I'll give it away to some local person here who might want to come and pick it up and visit me. Um, it uses inks from Precision Colors at this point. I used to use it as a testing type printer. Um, it really had like the best print resolution of that era. Nothing was better than the 2880. Even better than the larger, fancier printers. Those really did not even come close to the quality. So um, let me see. We're going to be doing, as of this Tuesday, well, I won't be able to do it right away, but the P or Pro 200 will be here on Tuesday. That is courtesy of Rick Johnson. He also sent me a bag of stuff, meaning there are some converted cartridges, mostly CLI 8s and CLI 42s with CLI 65 chips installed, all pre tested. And they have a little label that says whether they are at the yellow exclamation mark, meaning that they are low. Of course, they are all empty and pristine. I'll show them to you later on. We'll go through the set of instructions word for word. So this is going to go directly to you Pro 200 users. And I don't care where you're located. You're going to have to perform this uh, procedure in order for you to not have to buy, how much are they? $24 a cartridge? Yeah, you can refill. And if you do it correctly, and again, we're going to go through this in high detail. If you're just refilling this little chamber here, look at this. This is not even, it's about a 3/8 of an inch wide by about an inch and a quarter tall. And you're not going to go all the way to the top. You're going to go where the plug emerges through, and a little below that. You don't even want it to touch the plug. So it's going to take like, oh my gosh, maybe 5 ml to fill this up. And last time I checked, that's like 75 cents a refill, especially with even with the slightly more expensive but much better inks from Precision Colors, the Signature Edition series. They do have it for the Pro 200. So I want to get people who own Pro 200s, and okay, maybe some of you will stick to OEM, and God bless you. If you can afford that, then by all means do so. With the Pro 100, if you guys remember, the SE inks from Precision Colors were better, produced a more accurate result, and filled in what the original, believe it or not, OEM inks were lacking. And so the Pro 200 was introduced, and that took care of that problem. And so basically, now that in a way, it's kind of funny because the Pro 100 with PCSE ink sort of matches what the Pro 200 with OEM inks can produce. Almost, almost. And so with the Pro 200 ink set from Precision Colors, I should be able to get a very, very good uh, output, in other words. And again, I don't have OEM inks to test against, Precision Colors, but so what? I'm going to start using the Pro 200. I'm going to finally, believe it or not, I know you guys are going like, you've been saying this for weeks. I'm going to finally have to crank up my Pro 100. And I'm seriously thinking about putting away the 1400 from Epson, because ultimately this year I'm going to get a 8550 solely for sublimation use. Okay. So anyway, that is it. We're going to go ahead and there's other subjects we're going to be hitting, but let's say howdy to everyone. Nigel Waters is here from the UK, 7:02 this morning, my time. Canon Pro 300 with all the trimmings. So with the Canon Pro 300, it's the same situation. You're going to have to, just like with the 200, you're going to have to disable chips if you want to go that route. Okay. I believe in Europe, where he is located, there is no such lock against third party products. So if he was to wish to use third party products, he could. Um, Again, I believe that I might be wrong. You guys can correct me. Are there any refillable units for the, basically, that would be just a regular OEM cartridge, but with a special chip that resets? Is that allowed in Europe? Because here it is not. Okay. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, you have to go through the procedure of disabling the chips if there are no, if there is no such thing as a uh, auto reset chip or ARC. Ron Case here from Trenton, New Jersey. Salute you, my friend. Epson EcoTech 8550, Kimich Ultimate Lifetime, Canon R5 Mark II, and a Canon 7 Delta Mark I. NPM Photo, Nick Marmolejo from Deer Valley, Arizona, Epson Stylus 3800, Piezography Pro Inks. I'm glad your 3800 is still working. I wish mine did. I have a 3880. I'm going to get rid of the 3800 next week. I'm going to make another schedule for more equipment to go out. I don't know how much OEM unused cartridges I still have, but I know I have some large format that I'm going to be extracting ink. I'm using it for the P800, and at this point, it's very, very, very similar to the P800 so-called high definition inks. So I'm using that, and I'm just refilling basically for free at this point, my P800. And it has a much better black switch valve than the other one. So maybe after this, I'm going to go ahead and crank it up and run me a couple of prints just to keep it going. I'm going to take out the cartridges and give it a good shake and put them back in. They're all refillable, and I am using the old, what do they call it, decoder board, they used to call it. Eventually, if I decide, although it is a pain in the butt, because I would have to remove the rear plate and disconnect that board to the motherboard. I'm just gonna leave it. I have like 27 more resets to do. I am never gonna do that. I'll be gone. Trust me, I will be gone by then, before all 27 resets are used up. So anyway, either that or the printer will cease working. But anyway, he uses chipless piece 15,000 chipless PCSE inks, QMH Ultimate Lifetime, 0-1, Photo Raw Max, and Sony Alpha 6000. NPM Photo has a Weissner Technical 4x5, Schneider 75 Super Angulon, and a 120 ml Angulon Schneider convertible. I have a Schneider. I have a camera that I need to find. Oh, wait a minute. Let me bring something forward here. Look at what I found while I was cleaning up. This thing is dated 1892. There is a little latch that is supposed to lock. Some things literally fell off of it, and I don't know what the deal is, but it's got the cutest little, oh, I see. All the way out. And it's got the cutest little viewfinder right here. And of course, you can view through the back. I can actually insert like standard Graflex 4x5 film holders, the ones with the dual side, single sheet each. And where's my shutter? I don't know where the lock used to work. Now it's not working. Anyway, regardless. Yeah, this is broken. I need to do a little fixing. It needs a pin right there. I need to find some tiny little brass screws and replace some of these because they are not in good shape anymore. And yeah, things don't really work that well on it, but it's a beauty. It's really a beauty. And when you take a photograph with this using the right here, or time exposure, there's some slower speeds as well, f-stop down here, it actually creates a photograph that looks like an old one because I'm using the same lens, you see. All right, let me put this back. Now I have a Century Graphics or Anniversary. I think it's Century Graphics, and basically it's a little mini version of the Graphics camera, the 4x5. It uses 6x9, either cut film or roll film, 120 roll, and it's got a Schneider something or other lens, really top quality for the era. Anyway, let's continue. Richard Bender's here from Hagerstown, Maryland. Ecotank 8550. You keep typing 52. Is that really real? No, it can't be. A Nikon, not a Nikon. D300. And I am going to be reviewing your PDF on that so I can learn. Maybe we'll do a demonstration here live how to use the D300 from Canon, from Nikon for HDR photography, and that's what that allows me to do, right? So on a good day, maybe in the spring when the weather is nicer and everything is outside, becoming beautiful, I'll go out and I'll choose some high contrast scenery and we'll do some HDR photography, and then we'll show it off here on the live stream. Thanks to Richard Bender, who provided me with the instructions on how to set that camera. And it's that particular camera, the D300 from Nikon. Yeah. Captain Dawson is here from Richmond. Pro 100 with all the trimmings. If I get that 2880 fixed, do you think you might be interested in it? You had an interest on my old 2400 that I got rid of a long time ago. This one's better. It's the same thing. I think it uses the full trichrome Ultrachrome 3K or K3 inks. So it still has the single black channel. You have to swap your black cartridges, but that's a lot better than using a black switch valve, which fails on you. So I don't mind doing that. Let me know. Let me know. I'll let you know if I get it, working again. That is the goal. Photo Nikon 780, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Canon Pro 1000, Nikon 3550, XP 15000, QMH Ultimate Print Prism, and there's a new one. We're going to install it today. I'm going to read you the actual improvements that were incorporated, and then we'll go ahead and do another scan on a new paper that I found. All right, Photoshop, Lightroom, OEM Inks, Paper Plus Red River. Leah Lee is here, Israel. Canon Pro 1100, excellent. When I bought the Canon 1100, I removed all of the original inks from the cartridges and replaced it with replacement inks from Precision Colors in the amount of 60 ml of non-original inks because I knew that most of the ink would go to the maintenance cartridge at the first start. After half an hour, all of the Precision Color sensors turned red to white, and maintenance cartridge is... You installed the sensors? It sounds like that's what I gather. Um, you didn't continue, and almost okay. Here we go. Almost full. Of course, I now know that I have about 20% of ink left. I added the original ink, then I removed earlier. Okay, so you were mix and matching, but again, the matches is so good that it really doesn't even matter. You never see the difference. You never see the difference. Steve Excel, London, UK, Epson P800 refillable cards and OEM inks, i1 Studio spectrophotometer, QMH Photoshop Nikon Z7 II, Epson V500 scanner. Henry Stoffel, Medford, Massachusetts, Epson P800 OEM inks, and of course QMH Ultimate. Right, I read that already. Stunning photos with printed. I have a warning, but some of the cartridges are about to expire. When will I know that I need to cancel the chip? You just keep filling it. Don't worry about it. Keep filling your cartridges. Don't ever let them go empty. Whatever the warning is, keep them full. And so all the lights, I fill them again, all the lights. Are you using the sensor system? You keep talking about lights. I assume that you are. Are the chips disabled yet? No. Okay. HZ, hello from mild but foggy, the Netherlands. Epson EcoTank 8550. Print Prism still waiting for its first try. Well, you should do it today. In fact, download the newest today. Pentax DSLR 4x5 Cinar and Toyo Studio Field cameras, Epson Ilford cans and papers with thanks. You cannot hear me? No audio. Same here. What the hell? No, you got to be kidding me. Let me see. All this time, you guys let me talk. How about now? It should be on. I'm going to restart. Let me know quick. Everything good? Did you hear any audio in the beginning part? Let me know right now, please, quick. Could you hear me in the beginning? I know I'm okay now. You had audio the entire time. Okay, good. So we are good. Continue on. Fred Bird, he works in legal, commercial, aerial, all photographic restoration, Epson P700. I get confused when printing. Should I be using printer managed color or Photoshop managed color? Well, it depends. Okay. If you're using an Epson printer or a Canon printer and you're using the same brand paper, Epson on Epson, Canon on Canon, and you have that paper listed in your menu, and you choose that paper, say, for example, Canon Pro Luster, you can go to the color management and choose ICM. That means the driver is controlling color. And by golly, it is actually using the correct ICC profile for Canon Pro Luster. Or tell the driver not to control color, off or none or no color management, and then let Photoshop control color. And then you manually choose that profile. Either or, not both. Get yourself Q image for God's sakes. Stop printing in Photoshop or Lightroom. Export all your images that you've done editing to QImage. Inside QImage, I'm going to show you this later on. You choose the printer, the size, and then the paper profile. And QImage will control color and automatically turn off color management in the driver. Or if you're using Epson on Epson and Canon on Canon, and you choose that paper, it's the same one you loaded, you can tell QImage to let the driver control color, and automatically sets everything for you. But you cannot do both. And in QImage, you cannot double profile. It doesn't allow you to do that. Okay. It's just a headache proof method. Okay. All right. Good morning from cold and gloomy Washington State. This is Judy Ann. How are you, my dear? Canon Pro 200, Nikon, and Fujifilm cameras. All right. And Rick, can't wait for Tuesday. We're going to be visiting a friend for a couple of hours, but I hope that I don't need to sign something. Okay. Emmanuel is here from France, Normandy. Ecotech 8550 QMH1 Color Monkey Digital and Argentic photography. Not sure. It sounds like Argentina. Barbara Harris, I have a 2880 and love it. Thank you. Yeah, I hope to revive mine, and I will give it as a gift to anyone who wants it, including the cartridges. You'll just have to buy ink, and I of course recommend Precision Colors. And I salute you as well, Jose. Thank you, sir. Hi from Quebec. By the way, I found out I have a couple of percentage points of DNA from Quebec. How did that happen? Through my father somehow? Yeah, it wasn't my mother. My mother is the Caribbean Taína Indian. Any tips to clean and unclog Pro 100 hit? That could be a whole show. Clean cycles don't do the trick. How old is the print head? Is it 10 years old? Is it 2 years old? Is it 1 year old? Is it 14 years old like mine was? And finally just died. It didn't clog. It just stopped working. B200 error. That's it. You got to replace it. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that this week upon the arrival of the new Pro 200, the addition to the smaller army, printer army, much smaller. And it's going to get even smaller. But yeah, it's a matter of going through the steps more and more and more and more advanced, or shall we say invasive. The last thing you do is you remove it and prepare a tray with, say, Windex, the blue stuff with ammonia, and just let it sit there. There is a tool And I don't know if I have it here. Here we go. No, that's not it. There is a tool that Rudy Halliman makes that you insert it without the cartridges installed inside the printhead, and it creates a tank. Basically, it's a tank that connects through all the ports, and you fill that tank with Windex and let it sit in that tray. You line the bottom with paper towels so that the printhead is not damaged. Lay it down, install that unit, fill it with Windex, and just watch it drain. Eventually, it'll be gone, and hopefully, it will have cleared any clogs if there are indeed physical clogs. Okay. Often, what happens, these printheads are thermal, they generate heat for every single droplet of ink they expel. And heat is damaging. It damages your printhead. Eventually, you have to replace it. I will give that a try. Yeah. I first wanted to try some ridiculous, super high dynamic range, super deep shadow, like looking into a barn, say in Antietam battlefield or Gettysburg. That kind of preview, like mid afternoon with the sun angled, creating all these shadows. We're going to be going there with my friend from Wisconsin, Harold Davies, and his friends are coming to visit me and visit the area basically. And we're going to be doing some traveling. Hopefully, we'll be able to hit Gettysburg at that time of the year. It should be gorgeous up there. What does that mean, Leah? I can hear you. Okay. I hear you fine all the time. Good. Doing the slideshow only. So the slideshow did not have audio? That is weird. Okay. Okay. Well, at least you saw the slideshow. I don't see why that wouldn't have, because it was live. I mean, it was producing audio that I could hear here, and the mic can pick it up. Good. Excellent. Another yes. Okay. So, Mark Swanson, 7776. Hello from sunny and cold Washington State, Nikon D500 Pro 100 QMH1. Thank you for all the quality information. You are absolutely welcome. Okay, so that's weird. Hmm. Let me just for the heck of it, let me just start it up again. I'm not gonna show it to you, but I'll just start it. Okay. Did you guys hear that? I mean, we need that audio for the slideshow. The music is nice. Okay, let's start off. Okay, you heard that. Excellent. So I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. Okay, so upcoming work with the Canon Pro 200 PCSC inks as well as the Pro 100. I contacted Matt McNamara from Precision Colors in the northern Chicago area, and he has not replied yet, but I expect him to be shipping me some Pro 200 inks. I still have enough Pro 100 to last me a while, so no issues with that. Also, I want to let Rick Johnson know that in my cleaning, I found a bunch of, and I still have a bunch of Pro 10 cartridges. Do you have a need for those? The only way that I find that I can flush them is with something like this, which actually allows me to suck out the ink from them. And then you can just wash the internal bag with water. Um, would you have a use for that, Rick? I have some CLI 42s as well as some CLI 8s that I am never going to, do the job on those myself. I'd rather give them to you. So let me know. And I'm still going through the bag, so this might take a couple of weeks for me to round everything up. But you will need to order, or if you're really handy and you happen to have some Pro 100 cartridges, meaning CLI 42s or the 9000 Mark II and regular 9000 CLI 8s, you could go ahead and flush those. In other words, remove the ball. There is a process to that, and then use the flushing technique. You will need Windex with a little extra ammonia, and you can get ammonia from the supermarket. That kind of ammonia is fine, or you can buy from a chemical company if you want to ammonia, but this will work. And then you just flush the cartridge by simply let's just say, let me find one that has already been converted. So for example, this one here is black. um, Even though it looks like the sponge is full of ink, it's really dried. So you're going to remove this plug. You have, of course, removed the ball, drilled out the hole to 5/32 of an inch. That opens up the bottom seat and allows the plug to be inserted. It passes through that opening, which is smaller than the diameter of the plug tip, and then it will re-expand as it emerges through the other side, through the bottom of that seat. That seals that hole. Okay, if you really do a lousy job drilling that, this will not seal and you'll get nothing but a leak. Okay, you don't want that. So if you happen to have several dozens of these to, in case you make a mistake, fine. But the best thing to do is just order them from Rick, and they come. You will see. I will show you how beautiful they are. And you're going to inject the cleaning solution. If you use a syringe, not this type, but one with a simple like this. I think this one, yeah, a syringe like this with a simple tip. Just insert it. Of course, you loaded it with cleaning solution like Windex, and you have now inserted in the cartridge, and it will just keep rushing through it. Look at that, I got ink all over me. So I guess this wasn't, let me go to the bathroom a minute. I guess this wasn't fully dry, which means how good these little clips are. Let me just rinse this off. All right. Which brings me to a very important point. Always wear gloves when you're dealing with whether you're refilling or processing a cartridge. So anyway, once you do that, and now you no longer see ink coming out of the port. So it's going to I don't know how much Windex Rick uses, how many passes through the sponge, if you will. Then you use water and proceed, and you should end up with a pristine cartridge. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute, but let's continue on. I use every CLI 65 clip I had, so I can only make sets without clips. I wound up with 51 Lucy's, and I just created a new auction for those. What do you mean by Lucy's? They are loose? What? Oh, you mean the holes? Wayne J from Florida Panhandle. Where we had snow last. What? Oh, wow, that is ridiculous. Just a trace here at my house, but 30 miles north, 2 inches on the ground. Currently sunny and 44. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, he also has 21 full sets of CLI 65 conversions ready to sell for you Pro 200 users. There you go. Once this is right, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong. Once these are sold, that is it, right? That's what you told me. That's why I'm getting the Pro 1, the Pro 200. Oh, okay. Losers are not full sets. Okay, I got you. All right, excellent. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we have here. So I have some instructions, and I am going to go through these. Okay. I think that's everything. Yep. I'll leave this right here. So here are the cartridges. Okay, but I'll just show you one. By the way, you sent me an extra cyan. So I have the whole set here. Yellow, photo magenta, magenta, photo cyan, cyan, um, light gray, gray, and then black. Take a look at this, folks. And they are labeled, in other words, with the number 65, which is the correct CLI number for the Pro 200. So these are not originally Pro 200 cartridges. In fact, they have a prism, which is no longer incorporated. This will not do anything to do with the Pro 200. Pro 200 will be absolutely happy with these. And fill, allow it to fill the sponge. You will see it entering through a little opening down here on that vertical wall that separates the two chambers. You will see ink entering, impregnating the sponge, and then the levels will go down. You add slowly ink. This is only the first time, for the first time. So you will add ink and then you stop. You notice where the plug emerges. And this one fits so well that I can't even go to below that. You see where that plug emerges? You don't want it to touch that, just below that. Okay. That way you prevent ink from entering. There's a windy type vent. Remember, originally you removed this little tape off of this vent and you pop it off, and now you expose the vent to air, atmospheric pressure, in other words. And that chamber is like a snake, so they call it a serpentine vent. You don't want ink to get in there. You don't, because you see how I got black ink on my fingers? How would you like to have black ink on your lips? Because you got to do this and blow that ink out of that vent back into the chamber. Unless you have some kind of fancy device that will do that. Or you can suck out ink yourself. That might help. But from what I heard from all kinds of refills, we've been refilling this style of cartridge since the gosh, when was the first sponge cart that Canon made? Early 2000s. Okay, so believe me, we've been doing this for a little bit. And so once everything is full and the ink levels are not falling anymore, and at that point you should be around, say, half or 2/3, just add a few more drops. Okay. If you have the bottles with the syringe tip, it's a super easy job. Just add a couple of drops, get it just below that little plug, the bottom tip of that plug. That's it. This is now ready. Now, he sends them to you in this mode. So for storage, and if you're using Rudy Hallam's storage rack, you're going to need these, and these are the best in the world. You're going to insert it like so and clip it on. And you store them in this orientation in that holder. The holder is color ID'd, so you know what's what. Um, that way you have 8 already filled and disabled. And we'll get to the disabling a bit later. So these are ready to be loaded into the printer. Now, in the condition that these are in, right here, and this is what you will get when you order a set from Rick. A set of these particular ones. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll just read it to you. It says X. So it just means this one is red X. This one is been declared empty, but there's still ink in the sponge. So if it says Y, not Y, but the exclamation mark, yellow, that means that is low. You're going to fill all of them. Let's read the instructions anyway. That way we don't make any mistakes. Now, Rick, eventually, can you send me the file that these are printed from? That way I can make it sort of like a downloadable, and wait until all your sets are sold. I don't want it before that. That it belongs to you. But if you can make it available after you are done selling these, then we'll make those instructions available for everyone. I can have it on my Facebook group and they can download it from there. So here you see what the screen, and I love the Pro 200 because unlike the 100, it has a screen that you can rely on. Okay. So okay, the 21 sets will include the regular orange clips and color plugs. Oh, shoot. Here we go. So he includes color-coded plugs. What more can you ask for? Okay, so then the next one was sure the Word doc or convert it to PDF. Did you actually send it to me? Because did you actually send me that file? If you want to send it to me today, fine. Or if you already did, I really didn't see it. I need to go back and look. All right, let's get started here. This product is rare due to the scarcity of CLI 65 empties, or more importantly, the chips for the CLI 65. So those are the only people that have CLI 65 chips are Pro 200 users. Those are the only people that have these. Are they being sold on eBay? I really haven't looked. Okay, you could look at your leisure and see. But, it's better if you have a Pro 200 because otherwise, why would you be even caring about doing this? So you got a Pro 200, you want to switch over to refilling, but you realize the Pro 200 original cartridges are opaque. You can't see through them. So how are you going to add ink under that plug? You can't see it. So you need to convert to a transparent cartridge, such as these. You see? That way now I know how much ink is in that chamber. Otherwise, I do not. Okay? So since I now own a Pro 200, I am able to test the mounting of the CLI chips, meaning when you transfer, carefully remove the original CLI chip from the CLI 65 chip from the CLI 65 cartridge, and now that's basically useless at that point. Now you're going to transfer it to a corresponding, say, yellow on yellow, CLI 8 or CLI 42 cartridge. Again, you carefully remove that chip and you glue that carefully and align properly. And then you have to test it on a Pro 100, Pro 200 to make sure that the chip reader, those little tiny golden looking pins, contact the chip properly and identify it. It'll identify it as either exclamation mark or red X. And he just removes them, and that's been approved. Now that's ready to be sold. It has a chip that is properly aligned and it can be read correctly by the chip reader on your printhead. Okay. And that looks, no, that's on the actual carriage, not on the printhead. Sorry. Okay. So once I put the cartridge in, since these chips have been used, you will either get a red X or a yellow exclamation mark or no symbol. Red X indicates that the chip is registering empty or near empty. I call it low. No, red X is a, most people will change the cartridge at red X because they don't want to continue using the ink out of that sponge, or not. You could if you want to. Yellow indicates low, and no symbol indicates that the chip has already been detected as empty, and you will need to immediately go through the process, the disabling process for your printer. See the picture below. So we have some red X, we have some yellow exclamation mark, and then nothing. Okay, no indication except, but it doesn't really show you ink levels. So there's three different possibilities of what you're going to see. The first thing you should do is fill your ink cartridges. So as soon as I get the inks from Precision Colors, I'm going to fill these cartridges, regardless of what the chip condition is. Okay. Do not fill too high on the fill side, only to about 80%. Full or about where the bottom of the plug should be when placed all the way down. But do fill it this full every single time after you add ink. Every single time you add ink. There needs to be air at the top of the fill side in order to flow ink through the cartridge properly. Okay. The first time you fill it, you need to check if your cartridge is flowing. And this is going to use up a little bit of ink. You remove the orange clip at the bottom, hold it over a cup. I told you this before, and pull the plug. And you should get a continuous drip, 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 drip. Don't drip at all. Plug it back up. That means it's flowing properly. Put the orange clip back on it. Remove the plug and add a few drops of ink if you want to your chamber. That is called the drip test, flow test. Okay. Once you have ink in your cartridge, you will see one or three conditions. A yellow exclamation point means that the chip is considered low, but not empty. Continue printing. Eventually, the yellow exclamation point will be replaced by the red X. That is the next condition. Continue printing. People have a habit of kind of freaking out when they see that. Continue printing. If you get a support code on your screen, and this is what's good about having that screen, 1600 1600, the ink may have run out. You can keep printing until you get the code 1689, and it will say printer detected ink out of condition. Replace the ink tank. This is what you will see on the screen. Don't choose yes. It will default to yes. Choose no. Okay. Remove at that point. Let me see. Printer detected ink out of condition. Replace the ink tank. Remove the cartridge, but before, be sure it has enough ink in it. Of course, you have to have been refilling your cartridge. Okay. Then put it back. In other words, remove it. It has lots of ink in it, and put it back. See, the chip and the actual contents of the cartridge, they don't correlate. Okay. The chip has no clue how much physical ink is in your cartridge. It's going by a calculation telling you what the levels supposedly are. So, printer detected ink out of condition, replace the ink tank. Remove it, put it back in, and make sure it's loaded with ink. Then put it back in, and printer, close the lid. It will be followed by a 1730 error. The above ink tank may be an ink tank that ran out of genuine Canon ink or a counterfeit Canon ink tank. Did you purchase the ink tank as blah 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 blah? Say no. Okay. Okay. It defaults to yes, but you're going to answer no. Using the printer right arrow key and the OK button to confirm your choice. The next error will be 1730, and it's shown below. This is the next error you will see on your screen. And it says to print, replace the ink tank, or select do not detect to disable the function for detecting the remaining ink level. See, select cancel print to clear, blah, blah, blah. Do not detect. Choose do not detect. Now below, you will see the next 1730 screen, and it's instructing you to press the red triangle key to disable monitoring. So that cartridge basically is going to be, the chip is going to be disabled. To disable a function for detecting the remaining ink level, press, and it shows you the button, for at least 5 seconds, and then you release it. But by this operation, the fact that you have disabled a function for detecting the remaining ink, and it continues on. Once this message comes up, you will need to press and hold the button. That's on the printer right there. The red triangle inside the red circle for 5 seconds until you get the processing message. And this is what happens on the Pro 1000, also the 1100. It's a lot simpler on the Pro 1000 to disable the chips, and the same with the 1100. Ink monitoring is now disabled for that cartridge only. I have put a label on the end of each cartridge indicating the last known condition the chip was detected as. Red X for nearly empty, exclamation mark for low, and E for empty. You would need to disable monitoring immediately on the cards with the E. I don't think I have any with the E, so. You can keep printing with the red X and yellow exclamation mark until you have printed long enough for the 1730 to come up. Once you have disabled monitoring on the cartridge, monitoring is disabled until you remove that ink cartridge for another. So if you want to start all over again, you can buy OEM and install them, and you'll be back to normal again. In other words, the chips on those cartridges are not disabled, so they will be reporting your actual ink levels. A good overview is how to handle these disabling. It can also be found on Precision Colors website. So there is another set of instructions, and there's a link right here for it in Precision Colors. And he once demonstrated this live on one of my live streams, but those are gone. I'm restoring the live streams, and I don't know which one it is. I'm doing it in order, so someday it will pop up. Okay, and those go up every Saturday at noon. Then these procedures have been tested by my buyers and myself, and they work. But patience and solid understanding of the process is needed. You will need to disable monitoring on these cards. then you will need to develop a routine to fill your carts on a regular basis. And you guys know this. So at this point, you just set up a schedule, maybe once every week if you print a lot, once every 2 weeks if you print regularly but not a lot. And if you hardly print, which I don't recommend you do on a Canon printer, every month or so. But again, I would make a habit of checking. So that is it. We're going to be doing this. As soon as I get my inks from Precision Colors, I'm going to be demonstrating with an actual camera aim at the window and the printer and that sort of thing, just like I've done in the past. And that way we'll be able to reset those chips, and then we'll start making comparisons. How good are these Pro 200 chips from Precision Colors compared to the super excellent Pro 100 chips that they had issued originally? And I did a test, and I think that video has already been uploaded, where I compare OEM and the Precision Colors 42 SE inks. Oh yeah, okay, I did see that. Yes, it'll be quite obvious once I install them. It'll immediately show us E. So okay, excellent. Let me remove this. Okay, we're going to install the print prism. Oh, I got some ink on my table here. Let me clean that up. Do I have any tissues here? No. There used to be an individual in a forum that I used to hang out in, a printing forum, that called himself Ink Stained Fingers. That was his name. And I guess if you do a lot of refilling, you're going to get ink. Even if you don't, actually, you'll get ink on your fingers every once in a while. It's a badge of honor. Okay, that makes sense. A lot of people wait until the red X, and that means they are going to be like that black cartridge. And I thought that would be dry, but apparently not. Okay, so let me turn this off. Save the battery on that little baby. I'm going to go ahead and install the newest print prism. I already have it downloaded. If you haven't done so, please do so. I'm going to go ahead and load the installer and show it on the other screen here. So I just double clicked it. It is being opened. I guess I cannot. Yeah, I cannot put it over there. Sorry. I'll just have to do it on screen. So next, yes, next, 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 and done. Now it's installing, finish, done. And it made me disappear for a second. Why does it do that? And by the way, so most users of Windows 10, maybe Windows 11, you might get a notice. I have a special like software, advanced care, system care, sensitive data access warning, because it's accessing my computer. So either block it or trust. Of course, you're going to trust. And I'm going to tell it not to show this again because it makes no sense. On the download site of Q Images, it gives you a link in case your computer gets angry, you trying to install this software. I don't know why it would do that, but he explains why. All right. So now it is installed. Let's go ahead and open it up. I'm going to put it over there for you guys to follow me. So let me show you first what this will include. Let me go to the actual page that I would download that link from. So I need to go to my email. That way it'll show you exactly what it is included. So I'm going to just show you this upper portion because the password is right below that. Thank you for supporting Print Prism. The new release is available. This is 2026-112. Increased color precision with smoother gamma transitions. So that would be if you have like a really super strong red, a weaker red, maybe that super strong red would be slightly out of gamut. I think that's what it means. Maybe not. Increase profile description size limit to 80 characters. So you can give it quite a large name if you need to. More reliable scan rotation, more precise corner locations when using. Detect corners. Select scanner button now shows the currently selected scanner. Improved help and warning messages. Added 1-minute videos showing scanner settings in the main help menu. Fix open a save scan button, which it remembers recently used folder. Okay, so let's go ahead and I have one print that I made right here. And this is what paper did I use for this? Now I forgot. Jeepers. Well, I think I already did this. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I already did that. So let's go ahead and do a new one. And for that, by the way, I got new 8x12 linen paper. Here it is right here. I found this during my cleanup in the back. Let me see if you can read this. Ultra fine, I'll just read it for you. Photo quality luster, inkjet paper. And it gives you the thickness for 10.4 mil, 17 by 11 by 17, 100 sheets. I think I probably bought this off of Amazon, maybe. It doesn't look like it's going to be a super high quality paper. We're going to make a profile for it regardless. So it looks pretty nice, actually. Reminds me of the Pro Luster. So we're going to load one sheet. We're going to create that print. And I'm going to show you how that is done for those who may not have seen it. And by the way, there's a few more videos that Mike Cheney uploaded to his channel. You may want to take a look at those. Let me set this up off camera here, then I'll show you everything that I did. So this paper says it is a semi-gloss. No, luster. Let me find my Print Prism scans. This is the file we're going to be loading. We have this set as follows. The printer, Ultra Premium Photo Paper Luster, letter size 8.5 by 11, and the most important point here is to have Q image, any kind of color management turned off, and of course the driver is also going to be turned off by its own built-in AI. So again, you will click here and pick off. And just in case you're wondering, let's check the driver. More options, advanced, and no color adjustment. So we have everything set. Now there's an important setting that I keep forgetting to set for this. He wants us to turn off sharpening. So we're going to do that. Okay. And this is now ready to be loaded. I made sure to have auto crop off. This should load the complete image in there, including the black borders. Then we're going to trim this to the little golden little hash marks on the edges. And then we'll scan that. So now we can just go ahead and print. My coffee sure gets cold quick. Once this begins to print, I'm going to go upstairs and warm it up again. And I'll be right back. Okay, I was wondering about that. So that's going to be good. I can do one straight away. Okay, let that print. I'll be right back. Let me warm this coffee up. All right, how is this working? Printing in this mode really uses like the highest quality possible, which is really interesting. When I print the same thing, say for example on matte paper, it's much quicker. So I think any kind of luster, any paper that has a shine to it will print much slower, meaning that it's printing at like 2880 DPI. That is nice and hot. My kids used to say, the girls that is, it's roasty toasty, Daddy. If it was cold, it would be chilly willy. It's chilly willy, Daddy. Yeah, I remember these things. Those are good things to remember. All right, so we'll let that finish printing. We're going to go ahead and trim it. And I'm going to wait until later to scan it because I need to make sure that it is dry enough. In other words, as Mike pointed out, I think it was last week, it needs like at least an hour to dry. So what I'm going to do is I have this already printed, and it's, I forget what paper it is, but we're just going to go ahead and go through the process, and you'll see. We'll see how this behaves now. With the new claims about better this and better that. Okay, this is printing fine, looks great. Of course, anytime you're printing these, you have to have a perfect nozzle check. If you're refilling, you better have cartridges that are flowing properly, and so forth. I mean, it's just common knowledge. So alignment has to be spot on, the head alignment, that is. So you need to maybe run a head alignment before you begin messing around with these. Imagine if you have a slightly misaligned head. In other words, you start getting a little bit of banding, and depending on the paper, depending on the amount of ink spread through its coating, it may hide that. You don't want to have to even guess. So this came out gorgeous. Look at that. I am just shocked at the way this printer, the quality of this printer. I'm going to put this right underneath my hot heat press here. Maybe that will speed up the alignment process, the drying process. So I'm going to load this one. We're just going to, I think this is the paper that I removed over here. And this has to be staple paper. It has to be. Okay, so let's test to see what is the new things that I am looking for here. So we're done with that. We're going to be using it later, but we're going to shut it down for now. So simply put, you can, if you had an existing scan, something you already scanned, you can just open it here and look in the folder where they live. Epson 8550 is loaded here, and this is neat. It's already there. You can scan now. I'm going to go ahead and name this, because I think it's the paper from what you call it, from Staples. So Staples, and it's Supreme Matte, and of course 8550 in the front. So that would be sent here, and I can go ahead. I'm going to copy that just for fun. And remember, you have two choices now in output. In other words, if you want to have all of your prints using that particular paper to have a warm tone, why, I don't know, but as if you have an issue with shadow detail, you can include that, boost it a little bit, and so forth. So we're just going to go ahead and leave everything as is. So we're going to go ahead and just scan. And we will get this. This is what we're going to get. Now I can do a preview of that particular one. This is the previous one, the one we did last. So I'm going to do a preview scan. That way we actually see the actual preview of that particular print that I loaded. And I don't know why it's doing that. Let me do that again. I'm going to have to ask Mike about that. Okay, regardless, we're going to go ahead and scan. But we got to make sure that everything is set correctly. So the printer, photo mode, scanner glass, reflective color, 300 ppi, DPI, and then color management to none. Good. And reset back to normal and scan. And remember, we're going to do the 3 stacks In other words, three scans on top of each other. I think that should still be active. Yes. Pass number 2 and scan. Number 3 and scan. And that's it. Now it says excessive variation detected between passes. Make sure that the target was not moved. Okay, so I know what it is. Wait a minute. I know what it is. Hang on a second. I'm going to. So Mike told me about that. Scan now. Now I don't have, I did not select that, so that should not have happened. I don't know. Let's try. It's always something. And I should have, installed this last night. Let me remove this. I think that level of heat that we generated back there is enough to dry this, at least for demo purposes. Let me go ahead and trim this. Yeah, it's nice and dry now. Need to retrim this edge a little bit more. Like so. Let's see what happens now with the preview. Scan now. This is going to be a different paper now, so let me go ahead and change this. So this is going to be that, where did I put it right here? Photo quality, ultra fine. Ultra fine and photo quality luster. Photo qual luster. Paper. I'm going to transfer it down there, and we're going to go ahead and scan now. Let me see what happens now if I do a preview. And you're supposed to not click on, oh, it's crooked as hell. Try that again. Much better. Not perfect, but better. I want it closer than that. I don't think it matters, folks. At least that's what Mike said. Yeah, it's better. Okay. So let's continue on. So now we're not going to click on that. And we're just going to go ahead and print or do the scan. I'm still seeing some weird vertical. I don't know what that is all about there. I don't know whether Mike is with us today, but I would need him here today with us to make sure this is actually being done correctly. Again, this is with the newest version, so you never know. Okay. You have successfully stacked the maximum of 3 scans. So this actually worked. And okay. So now we're just going to paste the name and that's it. So we can now rotate. It should have rotated it on its own. Apparently not. Detect corners. You always want the yellow port, that yellow area there on the upper. Look at that. It found everything perfectly. Let's look all the way across. Look on the bottom here, bottom right. Everything, every little white selection is inside, well inside the center portion of that little color chip. In other words, the color patch. So everything got selected perfectly. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and make sure that the by clicking here, it will make sure that the actual profile name sent to the color folder will remain the same and create profile. And then we're going to print something. I have some paper right here cut. We'll load a couple of them. By the way, my wife was sitting upstairs. We used to have a little love seat for her, but she didn't like it. So I asked my daughter to give us the chair that I used to rock baby Nathan on when he was a baby. They still had it. It's kind of a, what do they call it? Not a slider. It just basically does this. Um, um, and it's too deep and she has trouble getting up. So we bought her just a solid chair with metal legs. And she chose it and she loved it. And so she sits on that now. So I got the chair in my room now that I cleaned up in there. So I am going to be going back there and do demonstrations. Okay. I'm going to sit on my nice chair, the one that I walk baby Nathan in. I have an ottoman for my feet. Um, I'm going to go ahead and show you big demonstrations with papers. I'm going to be using the P800. I'm going to be using the Pro 1000 and so forth. So that's going to be new. That's upcoming for new videos that I'll be producing. I'm still in the process of moving things around, looking at materials that I have collected. Do I really need them? I don't really want to go through the trouble of trying to sell anything. I want to give it all away to whoever wants to come over and look. Okay. So if you live in the area, I am in Kensington, Maryland, which is just north of Washington, D.C. Okay. Northwest. Um, let me know and we can set up a time where you can come over and walk away with whatever I think I don't need anymore and you could use. Okay, this is done. Profile is done. So I can close this. I'm going to go ahead and look in my color folder. And right on top, 8550 ultrafine photo quality luster paper. Okie doke. Excellent. So that worked. Now I'm going to go ahead and start up QImage. It is 1:30. My son is going to come over. He was going to help me lug the printers upstairs, but I managed to do it myself, which I'm very proud of. I was able to move it. The Pro 10 is the heaviest one that I got rid of. Amazing. Now, I won't be able to put them out until like tomorrow night. And then in the morning, they'll come and pick up the trash, and the recycling people will come over and pick up the printers. Then I'm going to go ahead and I got some old computers that are just trash, and I'll get rid of that, and we'll clean up the area underneath this table as well. Get rid of a bunch of stuff. I have VCR machines that they still work, but I don't need them and nobody wants them. So I'm wondering what to do with those. VHS, I mean, VHS machines, VHS tape players. Yeah, so that's coming next. And I also have a VHS to DVD recorder that never really worked properly. I'll give that away to anyone who wants it. Correct. Yes. You print the chart, not the scan, the chart, and then you scan that on the 8550 or the Canon 620, I believe, the G620. And there are others. He will be adding some of the Perfection series from Epson as well. We should be good. Hey, Kevin Bruniarski from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, is finally with us today. A little late. Did you get any more snow out there? Canon Pro 300, Epson XP 15000, and Epson EcoTank 8550. Very good. Okay, look, let's go ahead and set this up. So I just did a recent AI. No, let me go ahead and leave that for the end. Uh, let's see. Let's do this one. This one was really super colorful. This is from Richard Bender. And I'm going to print this via sublimation and make 2 by 3 inch, which will be 2 feet by 3 feet in real scale. Here it is right here. And then I also made that one. So with your permission, I'm going to try to sell the mini version of those. And you're going to get the full size version next time we see each other. Or did I already give it to you? I don't remember. Anyway, I always give you something. You always give me something. So, okay. So we are in the 8550. As you can see right there. We're going to print on premium paper luster, 8.5 by 11, rear feeder, portrait mode, and this cannot be off. This has to have a profile. And which profile? The one we just created, obviously. So we can either browse or suggest. I'm going to look for it. And to make things as quick as possible, I'm just going to click on the date right here. And then go all the way down. And there it is, ultrafine photo quality luster paper. We're going to use black point compensation, relative colorimetric, and go. Now I'm going to go ahead and add us a little border, maybe 0.5, no, 0.3, 3.5. 0.35. Okay, that's not it. 0.35. There you go. It's a little bit in between quarter and half. And let's see, that's it. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to add a border or a stroke. And let's see, I don't know whether this is going to fit perfectly without having to crop. If so, I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Yeah, we're going to print it like this, the original way. Okay, so this is it. It's ready to go. I wonder how this is going to print with that new profile. Now, where did I put that? You know me, I put things away, then I cannot find them. But you remember how good that, here it is right here. And this was done on the matte paper. This is the one we did last week on the matte paper. And as you can see, if I orient this, you can see the screen. Let me move that out of the way here. You can see the screen here, and you can see my print. Let me use another mode here. Maybe that'll work better. You can see how close that is. And this is not even my good monitor. So this is really the way it looks, and that is not exactly the way it looks. But I cannot show it to you here. But it is pretty much an exact match. So we'll see how that looks like on a slightly more lustrous paper. So we'll let that finish printing. And then we're going to go jump into Photoshop, and we're going to do a little bit of AI just for fun. And then I'll do a sublimation print. We'll do an AI print, and then depending how we like it, we might sublimate it, say, on an 8 by 12 result. This is what I did last week with this one, and I think you guys enjoyed this. This is the one on the linen paper. And then this is the one, the same one, but on linen paper. And they came out pretty good. That looks really nice. No complaints with that one. And we have some more stock here. And this was purchased with funds from Matt McNamara, who sent me a gift card for Amazon for me to be able to buy supplies and such. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping that we can continue our relationship, especially if I remember when Precision Colors was first appearing online. He was a nobody at that point, and he told me that himself. And apparently through my exposure at that point, he was able to increase production, get into more things, more product support, and such, and got to the point where he was able to retire. And I'm so glad that he is now retired. And he says jokingly that he's forgetting about printing, and he doesn't care. When I talk to him, it's like I'm reteaching him. Imagine that, when he was teaching me. That is coming out brilliant. Oh my gosh. Of course, I think Richard, you went over the top with this one, with the enhancement and the beauty. And look at, okay, so if people have any doubts whatsoever about the 8550, I don't know for sure whether I should get one, because I don't know if it's going to produce prints that are, here you go. Okay, come on. There are no words. Okay, and this is with the profile we just created now. This is the one on matte paper again with a profile we probably created last week as well. So let me line this up as best I can here. Matte paper, luster paper. Yeah, the matte paper is a little bit less brilliant. Okay, look at it now. This is more even illumination here. I don't have the best lighting in the world here, but you can see. This is the matte, and it should not be printing in this level of quality. It just should not on my paper. It's a dye printer, for God's sakes. This is what normally dye inks produce on shiny papers. Luster, semi-gloss, burrita, you name it. Anything that has a sheen will excel on the 8550. It's just a fact, no doubt. Okay, let's do something else. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna maybe let me load something I did yesterday. Last night I actually made this. I need to go in my desktop. So I have 3 images that I did via Wi-Fi AI. Okay, right here. This one here has the best, I think the best effect. And what is it? Let's go ahead and load it up in large mode here. We'll do a little bit of editing on it. Turn that off. Basically, it's a glacier. So that's what I told it to produce. That's what I told AI to produce. Okay. I kind of like this one. And what do we need to do? Anything? We'll do an exposure adjustment. This means that you see right here, there's some tones here, right here. Maybe I will be able to, because what this does, let me turn that off. What this does is black. If it's something 000, it will go up one little notch, half a notch. Okay, so it will not be pure black. And anything that was just white, 255 times 3, just paper, it will go down a notch, half a notch. Boom. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add sharpening. So we'll do like 1.5. No, not 6. I guess you cannot do fractions. We'll do 2. We'll see how that comes out. I'm going to use full size. Okay, here's what it looks like at full size, because it is a 7200 by 4880 pixel scan. Not scan, but a print, an image. So we'll do 150. Let's see what happens. Keep your eyes on this area here. I don't want to create any kind of holographic look to it. That I do not want. This looks okay. So, okay. And again, this is just, keep an eye on this detail here. This is just an area like here. Okay, like right here. And this side is got a nice deep area, black, not quite black though, almost black, but not quite. Should we make it a little bit more color, saturation? Sure, why not? This deserves it. This would make a really good metal print. But we're going to print it on that paper we just finished playing with. Let that load. Okay, and I think that's good. Okay, and okay. Now remember, I don't know whether this defaulted back to normal sharpening. We'll check in a second here. So yeah, it's still off. So we're going to do it, set it to default. And I believe we still have the same profile here. Good. And we are not cropping it. We're going to make it fit. And go. Let that baby load. Kevin said that he got no more snow, just cold, 7 degrees. Wow. Mm. So, what do you have planned? What do you guys have planned for this coming year? What do you guys have hopes for as far as printer companies? Dreams. And I love dreaming. Okay. I would love a 17-inch, that baby right there, with maybe red ink added to it. If you're going to make it bigger, then make the print head bigger. I'll pay for it. I'll be glad to. Imagine blue ink, red ink, then yellow magenta, cyan, gray, and black on a 17-inch eco tank. Whoa. You're not going to have that. Actually, there is a roll type eco tank printer, but it's really meant for sublimation. And I think it only uses 4 colors. Just like my 4200, which we are going to be producing some little prints after this, after the AI tryout. I'm going to try it again just to see. I would buy, yeah, wouldn't everybody? Wouldn't everybody? And they're not going to do that. You know why? Because that will put a really hold on people buying a P900. That would, why would I buy a P900? Oh, because I want pigment inks. Well, you know what? These inks will last. Most of us are up in our years. I don't think there's anyone here. Is there anyone here that's 20, 25, 30? I think we're all a little bit past that. And, my prints are going to last 30, 40 years with this printer using OEM inks, which are low cost. They are. I don't really need 100-year. Actually, I read this on a report. A print on good burrito paper on this printer, framed under UV glass, 150 years. And then he just said plus beyond that. Yeah. I hope to keep my health so each Sunday I can come and meet this group. When one is 87, you are never really sure what tomorrow brings. I still have lots that I want to print. Yeah, you're not the only one. How old is my friend Richard? Richard, you're in your 80s, right? I'm 76, so I'm almost there. So again, I am not going to be worrying about the longevity of something I print on my 8550. Of course, I have no worries about my Pro 1000 or my P800. I have, Nathan at 2 years old, and it still looks perfect. Not a bit of fading on it. You don't see any hint of fading. And you could tell because inks, they don't fade equally. That is something, let me tell you, that is something that, what group was that? What group was that? I think it was Ardenberg. Stated, I did a test. They asked me to do a test of PC inks, and this was not the signature edition, earlier versions of that. And they sent me a set of special color patches to print. They have been pre-measured. They know what they are, and then they're going to measure them with a spectrophotometer after a certain amount of exposure through an carbon arc light source. and they call it a megalux. So megalux is like an amount. So mega a lux by 1,000. So he told me that yes, the inks were fading, but they faded equally, and he had never seen that before. What he normally sees is different colors fading at different rates. Well, OMG, look at this. Holy mackerel. Oh my gosh. Yikes, folks. And I didn't have to go there. I don't have to say a word. I didn't have to go there. My dream that would be to be there and wouldn't have to feel a bit of cold and catch a glacier about to drop into the water, crumble into the water. How about that? Ain't that something? Well, I'm going to make an 11 by 17. Let me go back to my, and I'm going to load, I'm going to take out a sheet of 11 by 17. Oh, I'm glad I didn't drive over it with my chair. Okay. Good to go. Okay, so now we are simply going to leave that image there, or maybe we'll just load another one and sort of simulate. This is my other image. Oh, that's going to be nice too. Oh, let me go ahead and remove this one. So we're going to do this one. We'll enhance it a little bit. Let me see the other one. Huh. Maybe this one. What do you guys prefer, this one or this one? I sort of like the sky on this one. Wouldn't it be nice if I had added a boat or something? A kayak. Yeah, we'll do this one. Let me remove this one. And we'll keep that other one. Okay, double click. Okay. I like this one because it shows some of the shoreline. All right. So we're looking to see the sharpening around those areas there. So I think we stuck with two radius of 150. Yeah, that's good. Let me see what happens if I add double that. It gets a little bit too crunchy. Yeah, we'll bring it down to 175. Nope, that's not it. Come on. 1875. I don't think that's what I meant to type. Okay. All right. That's it. And I think we added 15 extra saturation. Boom. Yeah. Amazing, huh? Actually, Pete, I don't know whether you would be able to really see that much of a difference. The blues on the the Pro 1000, yes, they're excellent, but so are the blues on the 8550. Um, but again, like if they were to make, say they don't make it 17-inch, but they just simply add blue and red, yeah, that's a selling point right there. I would not hesitate in the least to buy that version of it, just to have blue. And I think the issues with blue and reds is more with pigment type printers, where they need that extra help. With dye printers, they really don't. Okay. Now, is it me or is this horizon a little bit crooked? I think it's just because that's not really a true horizon. I think that's just a shoreline back there. So I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to mess with it. And I think that should be good enough. So let's go ahead and load it. Let me see, what else can I do? I got detail here, nice detail. Let me add a little bit of fill light. Fill light is just lightening the shadows. That's all it is. Let that finish loading. It's taking forever. Okay, yeah, that gives me a little bit more detail here. Okay, so now that is ready to be printed. I'm going to say done and wait for it to reload. And then we're going to go ahead and change the paper size. Okay, we should be able to fit this a little bit better on 11 by 17. Ah, not really. I don't like that particular type of. I'm going to go ahead and crop it. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch border. That's better. You see that? Much better. If I don't crop it, it'll be like that. If I crop it, it'll just be like that. Really, it's not really losing that much. Just a tiny bit here. Okay. I think that's good to go. Let that load, and this should print hopefully as good as the previous one. Then we'll go into Photoshop. Let's see what we can create. And then we'll do the sublimation of the little prints. By the way, my production is going great. And I bought some little tiny easels that I'm going to be loading my mini prints. It'll look like a gallery. My table will look like a miniature gallery. And I think it's going to go, I think people are going to really be impressed. And I hope to at least recoup the $200 that I have to pay for the table, you know. So if I can make 3 times, 4 times that, it'll be great. I'm going to take Nathan with me. He's going to be my cashier. Um, I'm going to be doing all the talking. He's good at that. So, and we still have a long time to go. This will be in the first week of October in Frederick, Maryland. Okay, so that's going to take a while to load, as I can see already. So while that is loading, let me go ahead and prep what we're going to be making here. So I messed up. I should have printed this so that I can fill as much of the space on the 8 by 12, but I did not. So these are the images that I'm going to be printing, and you can see, recognize some of the ones we just did. and I got Richard's 2 images here. So let's go ahead and remove the protective coating. I'm going to remove, well, no, I don't have to do that. I can just lay it right on it like so. Get it aligned and flip it over and apply the tape. Or just apply the tape right here like so. I think that'll be fine. Here we go. And we'll do a little bit of a warm up on the. And I'm going to show you some of this stuff next week. I think you will enjoy it. And of course, next week, if I get the inks delivered, which I don't think that's going to happen immediately, we can go ahead and start working on the Pro 200. I think what I'm going to be doing instead, more than likely, is to simply work on the Pro 100 again. Get it set up. I got everything I need. That's already printing. You warm this baby up. Got everything I need already back there, just waiting for me. I'll have to remove the 1400, move it someplace else, and then get to work on the Pro 100, and then hope for the best that the B200 error was really just a printhead. Although I have 2 new ones that I can always set up. So this baby's going to take a while. So I don't know what Print Prism had an issue with that matte scan. I don't know. Weird. So I'm going to open up Photoshop. This is 2026, okay? And apparently when you open up 2026 Photoshop, it opens up the Adobe, that app at the same time. I don't know why it's doing that. So I just close it down. 12 seconds, 10 seconds, and almost done warming up. I'll go ahead and do that straight up as Photoshop loads. Okay. And we'll press it. Center it a little bit better. There we go. There we go. I have good pressure on it because I want to make sure the whole area receives the correct amount of pressure and heat distribution. That's very important. Okay, I like the fact that I cropped it to fit. I love the even borders over. This is not bad. I can live with this. I can live with that. As well as that. Yeah. And as well as that. So again, you bought Print Prism. Make sure you download the new one. Install it and just play with it. Okay. Other than dreaming for new printers and such, what do you guys have planned? What would you like to see coming, and what would you like to be able to do? What would you like me to show you or attempt to show you? Give me ideas. I have a lot of stuff here that I can do many different demonstrations with. Um, you have to help me out. You have to tell me what you would like to see. Don't make me guess what you would like to see because I cannot read your minds. So let's see. Who said Pete Grobel is 52? You guys are all young people. 59 is HZ. This is done. Remove this. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. So the goal here, I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. A lot of people, especially people into miniatures, they don't realize, they haven't seen my metal prints yet. So, but they don't realize that these are meant to be hung, especially the ones with Chromolux. They're meant to be hung floating off the wall. So they'll have some sort of frame in the back that makes it protrude away from the wall. I've come up with different methods of doing that. But in miniature world, it's going to be in a little room like this big. So they don't realize that they don't need a frame, but they really want a frame. So what I have done, I created some like 16th of an inch, a little bit bigger than that square, with a little slot down the middle that will fit on that thin aluminum. I got to miter the edges. They're all painted black, so it will give you a nice modern black frame around this super glossy film. In the back of the print, I'm going to have it coated with, I think it's like 60-year-old yellowish type paper from an album that didn't have any pictures on it. I'm using that paper because it's perfect. Framers, professional framers will apply a cover of paper in the back of your stretched painting, for instance. And so I will do that. And then I will put a frame made out of basswood. Again, super, you'll see. And that can be hung on miniature nails. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit over the top, but that way I'll be able to get enough out of each one. Yeah, good transfer. By the way, finally emptied my little trash. Had to divide all the paper and the metal into different containers. Let's have a look at this. Like Gomer Pyle used to say, golly. How about that? You see those deep purples and blues in the background, the ice of the iceberg. Yeah, this printer is doing a marvelous job on that. This matches the monitor. So it matches what I see. So I don't think it really needs to have a like a dedicated blue ink. The P800 definitely cannot produce blues like this. I demonstrated that on an old video that I made. I hope I can upload it. I'm doing everything in order, so hopefully that will come up. I'm only in 2020 right now, so no, 2022 right now. So I got like 3 more years of uploads to put up. But yeah, it's just amazing. Let me view this under this lighting. Look at that. And I love this little tiny hunk of ice there floating. And what is this on the left? Yeah, just another chunk. It's amazing what this AI can do again. And I don't use it for creation of people. No, that's against the law. If you ask me, that should be. But for art, hey, why not? Let me remove the. God, I wasted a lot of aluminum here. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so I have three of those glacier sunset things. One AI generated image of a flower vase on a table covered with lace. And then it's a painting that I actually did, um, full size, and I photographed it. Um, then one of a photograph that I turned into a painting, but by hand, not using AI. And then these are Richard Benders at the bottom here. And you've seen this one already. I mean, this one right here. So we'll be trimming these upstairs. And then while my son is here, we got nothing else to do today. So we're going to watch uh, that new Star Trek series that's coming out, Starship Academy. It's really awesome. You should watch it on, I think, Paramount Plus. He's got Paramount Plus. So he's giving me his log on. So we're using his account. But it's beautiful. So I'm going to see how these do. And if that's popular, then I will be making more. I'm going to show them to the ladies at our next meeting and see what they think. Let's jump into Photoshop. Okay, so we're going to make a new file. And I want to do, what do I need? What do I want to do? I want to do, what kind of aluminum do I have? I have an 8 by 10. So we'll do an 8 by 10, 10 by 8. And it's going to be high resolution, 300 ppi, like so. And hold on one second. Okay, the little generative whatever thingy is on my other monitor. I'll have to transfer it over there manually, like so. So I think what we're going to do is use the same term that I used previously, and I'll show you what that was. So I use view of large glaciers from the shore with dramatic skies at sundown. And I think I like that, but I'm going to add, maybe add and kayaks. Kayak in the distance. Like that. And so I'm going to copy this and paste it. And this is going to be it. We're done with this. So I'm going to go ahead and close, save it. And where did my little, oh my God, I hate that. Where did you go? See that? Why does, there we go. Why do you hide? Jeez, stupid thing. Okay, so we're going to do a photo. It's over here on my monitor. There you go. And I'm just going to paste that descriptive set of words. And we're just going to generate. We should get three different renditions. Okay, so the kayaks are not in the water, but nevertheless, still nice. Ooh, I love that one. That looks great. All right, we'll keep this one. So, simply put, I can save all three of them. Just I have the third option loaded. So I already have three others. So save as. It should put them on the desktop, and we'll find the ones that I already. I'm just going to click on one of them and add the number 4. Hit OK. Again, you don't see that I did. Add the next one. File save as, and add the number 5. And OK. And then the last one. And then I'm going to put the word in the water, kayaks in the water, and see what that does. And this should be number 6. You see how easy this is, folks? And I didn't have to get cold at all. And I didn't have to travel to what? Northern Alaska or something. So I'm going to go ahead and simply remove it. Or maybe I can just do Control Z and then go back to generate. But this time I'm going to add in the water. In the water, in the distance. I hope that's descriptive enough. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll have to generate and see what happens. By the way, if you're a subscriber to Photoshop, which I have to be, it's in the water, but not. Oh, there's some in the distance. We'll see what we got here. Okay, I kind of like this one. And what is that? A bunch of chunks of ice and one little kayak way the heck over there. There's one in the water. These are okay. I kind of like that one. This one is a little bit over the top here. Let's see what that looks like. No, those look fake as hell. No good. Okay, let me see this one here. It's a hint of a kayak. And I don't need that one. So when you get the image that's a little bit too big, you can actually enlarge it like so and slide it over a little bit, down a little bit more, and save that as is. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and save. And we're going to call it number 7. Wait a minute. I pressed the wrong thing. File, save as. Why is it doing that? Place the file before this. Okay, fine. And now 7. I don't want to show that again. It's bothering me. Okay, Z. And maybe we'll try the other one. All right, I think that's enough. So we've got enough images to play with. Let me go ahead and close Photoshop. Yeah, we don't need to save anything. Open up QImage. We'll do that last one as a sublimation print. So which means I have to have We're going to do an 8 by 10, so I have 8.5 by 11 on my sublimation printer, the 4200. So let's go ahead and set that up. So Q image, Epson 4200. I also have it on Wi-Fi right here. And we need letter. And the size has to be 8.1 by 10.1. And let's see, which one do we want to print? That one, that one, that one. I don't want to go crazy here, but let's take a look at these. I know it's vertically, but you know, I kind of like this one. This one shows a little bit more, a better composition of the, oh, what the hell is that, an ore? It's just sitting there, part of an ore. No, we're not going to use that one. So this one, watch what happens. I think I can just delete it or just remove it. Yeah, remove it. Okay, so this one is kind of nice. I kind of like it. This one I think is the best one. So let's remove this. Remove that one. And we just leave this one. Double click. Take a look at everything. Make sure there's no issues. There's a little tiny one way up back there, but that looks fine. Again, this is a 6,000 by 4,800 pixel. We'll do the exposure setting. We'll do the sharpening. I'm going to enlarge it to full size so we can see better. Our sharpening 2 times 175. Yeah, that's much better. We're going to add 15. Saturation. Okay. I want those kayaks to be nice and bright. They kind of look like a banana. Make sure that I have the paper coated. Yep. Okay. We are good to go. Done. Okay. So this should print with just a little bit of bleed from the edge of the 8 by 10. And the 8 by 10 that I'm using, it's got that glitter look to it, so that should be pretty cool. Let me double check everything. 4200, presentation paper matte, and the sublimation profile. And of course, the driver is set to no color management. That happens automatically, okay? And let's go ahead and print. While that is loading, I'm going to go ahead and peel off the protective layer, get my 4 pieces of tape ready. Come back to me. I got to look around to see how much sublimation material I still have. I have to buy my tax software. I think it's going to be better this year. You know why? I only earn half a year worth of YouTube income. and that is taxable and no taxes withheld. So that's half that I don't have to pay taxes on because I didn't earn it. So refund wise should be pretty high this year. So we'll see. Um, and there's not my fault that, because of the catastrophe that took place with the channel. So in a way, it was bad, and in a way, it's kind of a benefit because my taxes are going to drop terribly. Although we always had good refunds. People say don't go for a refund. Take that money and put it in the bank and earn. No, banks are not earning squat lately. So I just rather, if I had it, I would spend it. So I would rather have it deposited around early March as a lump, and then I would have that money. To me, that makes more sense because I know myself. I would spend it. Let's see what anyone else is saying. How often do you profile your monitor? You know what? I should do it um, today. Might as well. Using my X-Ray. I noticed that you are using a 2023 profile, which showed up in QImage. I profile every 6 months. Yeah, it's been yeah almost 3 years. I did it sometime mid year, but it hasn't really drifted. People say do it every month, and some monitors turn tend to drift more than others. Um, this was a $500 monitor when I bought it, and it's only like a 24-inch. Sir Mighty Moose, that's Rick Johnson, by the way, will be 69 on St. Patrick's Day. All right. Kevin is going to be 67. Photo Nikon is 70, and my daughter, her generation, do not want prints. I wish that printing will continue after we are gone. Need to get younger people interested in the hobby. Yeah, I agree fully on that. Um, I think they just really need to be exposed. Some of them, like my daughter, they don't care. My second daughter, however, my son doesn't care either, although he has asked dad to print him all sorts of stuff. And he's got his wall decorated with stuff. But it's like I show him something and he's like, oh, cool. Do you realize what I just went through to make this? Yeah. Yeah. It just does not strike them like they should. Okay. So, yes to that. They are horrified when their picture files disappear because of a hardware failure. When did you? Okay, hang on. Oh, okay. Yeah, digital files. Yes, absolutely. That's why I have a digital, a hard drive right here, another hard drive over here, and everything is being backed up. And of course, the cloud. Young people are addicted to their phones. You bet they are. The funniest thing ever is to go someplace and see, like maybe drive and you see a bus stop, and there's like 10 people there. No one talks to each other. I'm the type of person that would be talking to people, even strangers. I'll just start a conversation. If I'm there waiting half an hour, I'm going to start a conversation. Get off the damn phone. And I always tell people at the red light, you see a car in front of you. Light turns red. There's two cars already left, and that one is still. And you can see their heads are down. Oh, shoot. And they take off. Get off the phone. My God, what is so important that you have to look at every red light? Maybe I'm just an old fart and I don't get it. But yeah, you could wait until you get home. You really could. Unless it's an emergency call. That would be the only reason. All right, Fred Bird says, I still do some evidence images, so I calibrate my monitor 4 times a year. My company SOP list is 4. Okay, so yeah, glad you brought it up. I'm going to go ahead and do that after the live stream. We'll recalibrate it, and I'll see the before and after. It'll show me exactly what any changes may have taken place. If it looks identical, that means it did not drift in 3 years. Only 1,000%? About 1,000,000%. Get off the damn phone. I'm just a bad upstairs. I'm always checking on the phone for stuff because I get a lot of emails from people and such. Okay, so this is nice and dry. Bingo, right there like that. Look at how weird this looks. And when people start sublimating, they just cannot get over this look. This is gonna be a pretty one. Pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and tape this. I'm gonna do a different type of sublimation demonstration. I'm gonna bring my regular video camera out here, and we'll do a from beginning to end. I'll have 2 views. I'll have this view and also external camera so that you can see exactly what's happening to my left, okay? This kind of art is unique. I hope this, because of its uniqueness, I hope this maybe generates new interest in seeing an image on a substrate, in other words, not on a screen. And you realize how crappy they look on a screen? You cannot compare to that. Absolutely not. Okay. I have found out that I used to use this fiberboard or MDF and use crazy glue to attach it to the back to give it a little bit of stiffness. My room here in the winter is kind of warm and dry, and it causes the print because the aluminum is so flexible. The board contracts a little bit, it or receives a little bit of moisture to the back, depending on the conditions. It will either expand this way or shrink and cause the print to ball. So it's useless. I have to now, all I do is just add a hanger with 4 little protruding plastic dots that keep it off the wall. That's the best I can do with this super thin material. And let's see, where did I put it? Anyway, it's in there somewhere. Back in the day, I'm talking a long time ago, you could buy, although the surface was not as beautiful and flawless as it is now, the coated surface, the polyester surface, it used to have a little bit of a pebbly look, as if it was, I don't know, a little bit uneven, but it was regular. It wasn't like random, but it was thicker material and a lot less flexible. And it would probably withstand any kind of changes of the attached piece of fiberboard or MDF. Get this out of the way here. Bring this one out. See, I figured out this way you don't have to wear gloves. The silicone heat gloves. Let that cool off. We are done with the heat press. Turn it off. Touch this. I always check this. You see that? It's even the removal or the transfer of the ink from the paper. So if it was blotchy, then you would have some moisture issue. That means that there was some moisture trapped and the ink did not sublimate. It did not become gas and then pass through to the coating, this polyester coating. I'm going to start emptying out my trash on a weekly basis here. So I'm going to take these 2 sheets directly upstairs. I already took out the recycling, even though there's no pickup tomorrow. Now, of course, the best test you can do is to print this. And we'll do this. We'll do this not just for the heck of it. Print this. Look at that. On the sublimation, aluminum, and then I'm going to do the equivalent on that luster paper. Let's see what we get. We're relying on 2 individual profiles. One was created for sublimation, one was created just today for that paper. How similar are they going to be? So that's 8.5 by 11. Switch over to the 8550. Put this on letter size. Let's go ahead and jump. And that's being cropped. I don't want it cropped. I want a border. And I don't want 1/2 inch. I want something. Oh, yeah. What the heck? Let's go with 1/2 inch border. And let's see. Uncropped. And we need a black border. We have it already. We need to apply the correct profile. Right there. It's already automatically added. Okay. Ultra. And we'll go ahead and print it. And we'll make a side-by-side comparison. I'm looking for, it's not going to compete intensity-wise. It's just not going to. But it should be pretty, almost identical in color rendition. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a color match. Did I send it? No, I did not. Did I? Yeah, I did. What the heck? Okay, it's loading. I see it. Okay, good. Wow. So on one of my previous videos, I said that you have Photoshop, you have no excuse not to print, especially on an 8550, which costs pennies per print. You're spending a heck of a lot more for paper, and that's understandable. Paper's not going to get cheaper. But I forgot what I paid for it. That's 100 sheets of 11 by 17. I think I only paid like $50 for it. So that you're talking 25 cents a sheet. So 25 cents a sheet for some pennies for the print, for the ink, you have a print. You can create stuff. You can no longer say, I don't have anything to print or I can't afford to print. You can. And even though it is not necessary to print like daily on an 8550 Pro 1000, Pro 1, oh my God, you have to print daily on that puppy to be able to not generate cleaning cycles between every print job, which is what will happen. And you're losing big bucks if you don't print daily. Oh, but if I don't use ink to print, I'm not losing. Yes, you are. Cleaning cycles, pre-print. Okay, so, and the sad truth is that when you buy a printer, it's meant for you to print. So the idea of not driving your car to save on gas, but then you have to let it idle for an hour before you get on the road and start driving. That's basically what happens with a printer. You're creating a situation where it's going to say, before I let you print, I'm going to check to make sure I am good to go. And I'm going to clean myself. Oh, sorry, I'm going to waste 3, 4 times more ink than it will take to print your measly 8 by 10. Okay, that's what I'm. Okay. So if I don't care, then if it took 2, 3 total ml of ink to create that print, it used up 4 times that to get itself ready, whether it needed it or not. So before you get into this, and this is my recommendation to everyone, before you get into this, be aware that you have to print. Okay. You do. And the ideology of if I don't print, I'll save money on ink. No, 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 no. Too bad, dude. You're stuck. Or do that. You're stuck. You bought a printer, a photo printer. You have to now use it. And yes, you will use ink. You see? And that comes from the heart, folks. That is my total experience with printing. Yeah. Yeah. I realized I didn't print at all since last week. I got to do a nozzle check. Um, it's going to do a clean cycle. It's going to waste some of my ink. All 12 channels will lose liquid just to run a stupid nozzle check. Are you going to frame that? No, you're not. You're not going to frame that. Of course not. So, I'm going to start doing some profiles on the Pro 1000. Okay. That'll begin next week. So, next Sunday, we're going to do profiles on the Pro 1000, maybe profiles on the Pro 1 as well. Because I really don't know how much longer my Pro 1 is going to be happy and work for me. So, we'll have to see. That looks good. That looks good. Looking good. And it is done. Wow. Now we're going to make a comparison. So the king of all prints will be the one on top, the metal one. And what should be the slightly less will be the bottom one. But it's not. Okay. It just isn't. If I trim the white border, then it will almost match this. So there you go. Look at that. Okay. I hope you guys enjoy these demonstrations because they're real. There's nothing fake going on here. I'm not doing any tricks. I'm not doing any disguising the results or anything like that. This is what you see is what you get. I was able to do it here in front of you. you should be able to get the same results I'm getting. Okay. And I cannot see how I can possibly improve what I am currently getting. I'm being frank here. Let's see. I want a new printer with red green ink. Well, the old 9100, 90 no 8500. What was it? 8500 or 80 or 9500? 9500 Canon had green and red ink, but that only came to play under certain papers, and some of the large format Canon printers, early ones like 6400 versions, they had orange, green, red ink sometimes. Nobody really had blue at that point. And did it help? I mean, did these printers was the printer unable to reproduce any of those ranges of colors? Maybe it was just the available inks back then, maybe the technology. Um, but yeah, you can go back and see that. Look at some of the old versions of these Canon large format printers. They had 12 channel printers back then, and they did have orange and red and green ink in many cases. So, and that's the only way they were able to get re, you know respectable results. In other words, okay, let me load up my goodbye stuff here. Where did my images go? Okay, right here. Let me load that there and this one here. And thank you. There you go. We're going to play one more slideshow, and I'll bid you guys goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Let me set this up. I want it off so I can set it up first. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. We didn't have too many follow-ups. Cross my fingers always. But so far, so good. So we will be seeing you next week. Again, this week I should be receiving the Pro 200. I hope that Matt replies to me soon for the inks as well. And so as then I'm going to set up my Pro 1000, my Pro 100. Would you like me to record that, setting it back up and getting it to work or not? Who knows? But I would be glad to produce a video on it. It will be loaded instead of an old one. Um, and I can also make it available on Patreon. You guys know my app. If you want to join Patreon, I think it's up to $7 a month, but I'm going to change that back to 5 as soon as they let me. So you will be accessing videos before anyone else does, especially in YouTube. I would wait a whole week. You guys would access any new material on Patreon first. So if you become a patron, you got access before anyone else does on YouTube. After a week, then it gets loaded up to YouTube. Okay. So that supports the channel. As YouTube right now, it doesn't seem like I'm going to be earning a penny from them. All right. So that's going to be it. Thank you so very much. And we'll see you all next week. Bye bye, everyone. Come on, load. There you go. Excellent. And play.